I'm going to show you guys how basically a pie is the same thing as a myth. Not the same thing, but they're one and the same process making one or the other. So by the end of this, you'll be able to make a pie perfectly, and you'll be able to create the perfect. When creating a myth, you have different people or places that you would like to include in the story. In a pie, this is what we call our ingredients. First off, in a myth, you want a foundation. This might be the place where the story occurs. For example, in the Iliad, the story takes place in Troy. Troy will be the foundation, and the foundation of this pie will be the crust.
Run.
When creating a myth, it's important to have a stable foundation. The Iliad works so great as an example because its foundation of being Troy works so well, which is why having a flaky crust and a sweet crust for this pie will also work just as well as if it were the Iliad of pie. After making the dough, you want to move on to the filling. The filling in the pie will be your fruit of choice. In this case, I'll be using blueberries. While creating a myth, the filling will be the events and characters you intend to include in said myth. In this case, compared to the Iliad, the main character, Achilles, will be the blueberries. The supporting characters such as Hector, Agamemnon, Paris, Priam, and a few others will be the syrup that supports the blueberries inside of the pie. To get the perfect filling, you must add or take away certain things. Like if it's too sweet, you could add some lemon to cut through the sweetness. If it's too tart or not sweet enough, you could always add more sugar to achieve the perfect flavor. After you have made the perfect filling, it is now time to build. This pie will have its foundation, the crust, its main characters, supporting characters, and events which make up the filling. After you have these things, you'll need a great ending that ties it all together. Our ending in this case will be the top crust. A top crust is the top of the pie that conceals the filling. Many people like to create different shapes, but today we're just going to keep it simple with a few slits on the edges. And once you're done building the pie, it is now time for it to go in the oven. In comparison to a myth, putting it in the oven will be the equivalent to editing your myth. Baking it in the oven is what takes up majority of the pie making process, which is the same situation when it comes to editing a myth. According to research, it took Homer upwards of 50 years to finish writing the Iliad. This is proof that such an iconic work as the Iliad and this blueberry pie takes hard work and no specific amount of time. This pie could have easily taken another 50 years to make if need be. Baking a pie and creating myths include many of the same steps. After completing all these steps, you have accomplished a great product. A product on paper and a product inside of a pan.